Coming to you hot from the observation deck of the Air Rec Radio Sports Plan. This is SportsWreck! That's right, you were listening to another edition of SportsWreck? SportsWreck. It is the 17th day in December in the year 2013. Our Lord's year, 2013.
Hey, that reminds me of a joke I heard this week.
All right.
What do you call snow?
Snow.
No. It's the coming of the Lord.
That's kind of gross. I don't know how funny that is, as it is kind of disgusting.
Yeah, well,
but that kind of sounds like you, so it works out nicely.
No.
I don't know how funny it is.
I just repeat it, man. I didn't make it up. Come on, man.
No, I had nothing.
You're
was
lucky I can remember a joke, for Christ's sake. My memory's the span of a goldfish.
I was trying to come up with something, anything at all, and I had nothing.
It happens. So what the hell's going on, man? What have you been doing?
Not wanting to do this show.
Yeah, that's what I kind of got the feeling.
Yeah, I guess it's a minute 17 in. It's a minute 21. 24.
Yeah?
And I'm tired of doing this.
Tired already?
Fuck this show. I'm tired. I died. Just why we haven't been around. I haven't wanted to do the show, so I've been canceling.
But I thought we lived up to our name.
Well, we actually did live up to our name. There's no question that we lived up to the name.
Totally wrecked it.
Yeah. Right down to the name. I don't like it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. That's the special announcement.
Yeah.
Live here on airrecradio.com.
Yes.
Recorded on iTunes. You're listening back recorded on iTunes, Stitcher, airrecradio.com, or rocpodcast.com.
I've been.
Yeah, I'm tired of making a sports show.
Okay.
I thought it'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
Oh, I don't think it was a bad idea. I just think you didn't realize the legwork involved in doing something that is so, I don't know, current.
And overdone, too. I mean, there's a million sports podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
There's a million of them. Of course, there's a million of every kind of podcast.
And it's not like we got any production going here.
Dude. And it's hard to come up with production because...
Well, it's
nothing's
all
original because there's a million
I mean, you'd have to sift through everything, write your own essay on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, who's got time for this?
I never caught any inspiration. Like, at least Eric, I'll catch hey, that would be a good piece of production. I throw a little music here, a little voice work there, and boom, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
I never get it with sports. I just nothing says,
I'm
hey,
sorry,
that would be a good...
I feel like I've let you down.
It's not your fault.
Okay, well... No.
It's just nothing, you know what I mean? Like, I started writing one that I got to tweak about sitting at a train, because I was sitting at a train, and it reminded me of something about Iraq. So I took the notes, and I was starting to fucking work on it. You don't get that with SportsWreck.
Yeah.
Just nothing ever reminds me of the show. Except for you, the day before. Are we doing the show and what time?
Well, it's I try to remind you earlier in the week, but you ignore me.
Yeah, well, you're kind of easy to ignore.
Remember that when I'm sitting on your chest.
I will remember that while you're clawing, breathing for air edge because you tried to sit on my chest. I'll remember that.
Hey, man. You're a big dude, but I do no bigger.
Mm-hmm. But they're not here right now.
Okay. Anyway, so
that's it. The show's canceled. We're done. We'll never speak to you people again. You've wasted your time following us. You're apparently as big a losers as we are.
Boy, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
And this is the first time I made a podcast that was 4 minutes and 30 seconds long. So, with that, we bid you adieu. Go fuck yourself. No, we're just joking. No, we're just joking.
I don't know. I'm ready to go.
By saying I canceled the podcast.
There's something over here to keep me busy, so if you want me to leave, I'm good.
By saying I canceled the podcast would be implying that I didn't want to flap my gums. And as most of the people in my life...
Well, you didn't say that. You said you were canceling the podcast. So I'm taking it as you're canceling SportsWreck.
I'm canceling SportsWreck.
SportsWreck
has been officially been canceled by management.
It died today, December 17th, 2013.
7:37 p.m.
Over. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
That being said,
it's time to party.
Time to party. Because I can't use any fucking music. And I don't have any party stock music available without doing some time and looking for music. So fuck that.
Yeah, well, we'll work on that maybe in the future. Are we going to have some sort of future?
Well.
Wow.
I know I have a future. I'm a young man. I don't know about you.
Well, I haven't passed away yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing podcasts. So I don't want to stop. I don't necessarily want to stop doing a second show. I just don't want to do that show anymore.
I gotcha.
Does that make any sense to you at all?
Totally.
And since I'm the guy with the power buttons and the knobs, that's what we're doing. I got to pull rank on that one.
Well, I'm
I know you're on board.
I just, want to make sure if you want me on board, I'm here. I could be opinionated or whatever we're doing here.
Yeah, well, I think...
So we don't know what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing. I do know that for the first couple weeks, you're going to be able to get the new show, and whatever the hell that is, on the SportsWreck feeds. Wherever you're getting your SportsWreck now, you'll still be able to get it.
Okay, cool.
For a while. Until we get things all straightened out.
So this is...
They'll be merging over to the new name and the new feeds and all that stuff.
This is like totally uncharted territory here. We don't even have a plan.
No, I don't have a name. We don't. I think I kind of have a plan, but that's just one of my kind of... I throw things out and see what sticks to the wall.
If I can't see it on the board behind me, it's not a plan.
That's my movie. That's different.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, if I can't see it, if it's just in your head, it hasn't been shared with me in any form, then it's really not a plan. It's just an idea in your head.
That's what this podcast right here is about. This is episode 18? 19? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is how
18.
much I don't give a fuck about this show. You know what I'm saying? It's episode 16.
Okay, if you say so.
Episode 15 was Egregious Mistake.
Oh, yeah, and then we missed the episode.
Then we missed an episode.
Mm-hmm.
So this is episode 16.
We did have good titles, though.
I am good at that.
You were helped a few times.
Yes, I like help, too. But that's how you're good at something a lot of times, is that you got help.
Oh, yeah, it's just nice to see you spread the wealth, the credit, whatever.
When there's credit to be spread, I'll spread it. Until then, I'm fucking got to drum some up now, don't I?
Yeah, okay, poop.
I got to stop using Facebook as the family business and switch over to one of the podcast names.
So, let me get this straight.
Okay, well,
we really don't know what we're going to do. We don't have a name for it yet, which I don't think we should rush into it until we kind of figured out where we are, what we're doing.
I know what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, I know.
I've got a couple ideas.
Couple ideas.
Of course I do. I haven't picked one.
Well, you only mentioned one to me, so
that's not. See, that's not going to be. You're even wrong right there.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You're wrong right there because that's not this show. I have a vision for that show. That's a different show.
Hey, you want to know something interesting? Gatorade in a crack on the top of my lip. It fucking stinks.
Oh, that's not really interesting. As it is depressing because you, in fact, suck balls.
Huh? What?
I'm not. Oh, that's charming for podcasting.
Did you like that?
No, nobody liked that. Fucking at least face the other way.
Blazer liked it.
Yeah, he thought you were calling him. So that's what this episode's going to be about. Okay, what I want to do, what my idea for formatting is, pick a single topic, and by topic, the topic literally has to be like a 1 to 3 word subject. When we pick the topic, it's literally just the word aliens or cup holders.
How about dinner on the Enterprise?
I will make exceptions. Okay. I actually kind of like dinner on the Enterprise. I might make exceptions for certain things, but you're getting my point for simplicity.
I got your point, subjects. But I got a problem with it already.
What?
Because I don't know. I think about our over the time we've known each other and been friends, and how our conversations usually flow and ebb and all that. And to say we're going to have a topic and then try and stick to it
it's not
for
a matter.
any length of time.
You didn't let me finish. It's not a matter of sticking to the topic. It's a matter of picking the topic so that we don't fall into a situation where we don't have anything to say, because that happens when you're just flying off the seat of your pants.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes we just run out of things to say, and you got to cut and fucking regroup, and it's not natural, and it doesn't feel good. You pick a subject so that you have something to talk about. You know that you have a opinion on the subject, and then if conversation flows and ebbs,
that's why I think
to steal a turn of phrase from you, then conversation flows and ebbs. You don't try to control it. You just have a plan instead of just walking into it, whatever comes to mind. Because sometimes whatever comes to mind is fog.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? It's just emptiness.
No, I got you. I've been there.
I drink too much beer.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Mm-hmm. Especially about podcasting. It's amazing how much that happens.
Isn't that why you podcast?
That's one of the reasons I podcast, yes. I needed more reasons to get drunk during the week.
Well, in reference to what you're saying there, that's why it's probably easier to keep from having that lack of something to say with the third chair on occasion.
I was going to actually ask you about that. I want to try to maybe find a third chair on more than an occasion. Maybe find about another member of the shoe. Make it a little bigger show.
Make a bigger shoe.
Yeah, another third person.
Really big shoe for you today.
Yeah, another person to add a perspective.
Or
maybe be a tiebreaker from time to time. That's a nice thing about having 3 people.
Or we could have, maybe if we can't find a permanent third, maybe we can have like a...
It's really hard to do that. I would really like to look for a permanent third.
Oh, I understand you, but maybe between the two of us, we could kind of schedule a rotating third between 2 or 3 people.
If they're willing to make a commitment to being once a month.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. If we get 2 or 3 people, and we're only doing a show every 2 weeks,
as long as they're willing to commit to a schedule,
right?
That would be fine too.
Mm-hmm.
But something that that the third person is going to be here, they're going to be here all the time. Once in a while, somebody gets sick and 2 people do the show. Then somebody gets sick and 2 people do the show.
Yeah.
One of these days, on one of these podcasts, I'm not going to be there. Like one of these days, I'm gonna get sick or something, and I'm gonna make Stacy do Eric without me, or I'll make you do this show without me, and I'll just set the shit up for you guys and go back to bed. One of these days, just like one of these days, Stacy's gonna get sick, and I'm still gonna do Eric.
You're just a glutton for punishment.
well, like one of these days, Stacy's gonna be sick and not gonna be able to do Eric or whatever, and I'm still gonna do it.
All right, gotcha.
You know what I mean? With this show, the same thing. Someday you're not gonna be able to make it, and if I can, and there's another person I can do it with,
right?
I will still do it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. No problem. That's just Jish, man. You're not.
And I would be happy letting somebody else have the reins for a show or 2, or run the board.
Really, you could relinquish control like that?
Well, yeah, I have no spine, so as a general rule, I let people push me around anyway. So.
You lie. I'm not talking about your private life. I'm talking about in public.
Oh, in public, I'm Billy fucking badass. Private life, I'm a big sap.
Yeah, well, whatever gets you laid.
Oh, big fucking fluffy teddy bear with no spine. My head just flops to the side. It stares at you with those big dead eyes.
Oh, that's kind of creepy. That's kind of creepy.
So are you.
Yeah, well.
Bada bing.
Trying to get better.
What a soundboard.
Yeah.
So I was thinking every other week,
okay.
Longer show. Instead of doing an hour, we'll do hour plus. We won't set a time frame other than more than an hour.
Okay.
How does that sound?
It worked for me, Well,
again, and this is kind of an evolving thing.
Yeah.
So if we find that a time frame works out nice for us, like Air Rack, we're usually between an hour and a half and 2 hours. Much longer than that, we get a little droney.
Right.
And less than that, I don't feel like that I'm delivering enough of a product.
I got you. Again,
people expect a certain thing once they get used to a certain thing.
Yeah, the other thing is too. Back to other people, whether they be a third or a guest.
A permy guest or whatever, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. I mean,
guest host.
Who says we can't have a guest on occasion, too?
Well, yeah, if you got a guest host, that still leaves room for a guest. I always got another mic.
I'm whatever. But anyway,
and the great thing about that is if you want to have a guest on, it can be anybody.
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to have any real relative to what you're, right. They could just be your buddy freaking Frank from down the street. The guy 2 doors down, that guy can hold a conversation. Come on my show.
Yeah, like we had Mike.
Exactly. Just that was one of the things that prompted me to want to do something a little different.
Yeah.
I had fun talking to Mike about his music experience. I would got deeper into it.
Always have him back.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. You can never cover as much material as you want.
But when you want to, you can pretty much talk to anybody. I'm not as good at.
Yeah, I can be a little more on.
Yeah, I'm not as good. If I don't really have a rapport with a person, it's
also
hard.
know the certain subjects that get you gums flapping.
That's because you're a dick.
There's like anything, there's buzzwords, man. There's certain things that I know you will have an opinion on or a strong opinion on, and if I know your opinion on this, I'll ask him about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I'm pretty good that way.
Right.
How do you feel about the Kennedy assassination? Go. And DARPA. Let's get into it. That's the problem. If I go too freewheeling, people on Air Rack already think I'm a communist.
Really?
I said it on Air Rack too.
The other thing
don't forget, we are doing we've got a very comfortable talk thing here, and I'm loving it. But don't forget, we're in a podcast and you got to talk into the mic.
Right. Sorry, I got it.
I just reminding you. What I mentioned on Air Rack last week is that me and Stacy are both this far away from being terrible Americans.
Really?
And we're both this far away from being great
you believe
Americans.
The current regime is best dishonest?
No, I don't mean. No, I don't believe the current regime. The system has been broken, and the system has been broken for years. But the system isn't accidentally broken. The system was purposely broken, and the process was started over 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the intended outcome, perfectly played in a perfectly end of game chess. And the wonderful part is that we're starting to see it now. Are we starting to see it because it's too late? Maybe. Are we starting to see it because we started to see things they didn't think we'd be able to?
Years ago. Okay.
Started more than 100 years ago. Started prior to World War I.
Right.
That's right. World War I was 100 years ago.
Right.
1914.
But the full court press started at the Kennedy assassination.
See, I almost believe it the other way. I think the full court press in resistance started at the Kennedy assassination. That's when people really started to ask questions.
Right, and that's how they snuffed it out.
And that's danger. Questions are fucking dangerous.
Well, that's why he got snuffed out.
Well, they might have made it worse. He got snuffed out in suspicious ways.
If they had made it worse, we wouldn't have lost as much ground as we had. And I mean, let's start. NSA, FEMA. Where do you want to go with this?
But we're gaining ground. We're losing ground in the fundamentals, and you're right, we are. But we're gaining ground in the intellectuals, and there is a thing called rock bottom. We haven't reached a level where we've been enough has been taken.
Because everyone's too fucking blind.
Oh, dude. You say blind, and I say blind by love. I mean, things are shiny, and things
Don't talk
glitter.
to me about shiny and glitter. I'm a fucking pirate. I know the difference between shiny and fucking ignorance. This is ignorance.
The average American family spends more money on Christmas than they do on household expenses for an entire year. That's not your mortgage and your bills. That's toilet paper and toothpaste.
Well, they're morons.
So most Americans
I just told you. I spent $15. I'm done.
They're maybe not. It's maybe not that they're morons, as maybe they aren't on the head of the curve. Like, I'm not saying they're dullards, but they're not paying attention. You know why? Because flat screen TVs are cool.
Gotta say they are.
And Christmas lights are shiny, and cars beep and make noises and go vroom, and now I can sync my phone to it, and it can do everything my smartphone can do.
And no one sees how any of this is a bad idea.
And
no one sees how any of this is a bad idea.
I will never say that.
Already, red light cameras are biting us in the ass.
I will never say that technology evolving is a bad idea, because that's what we're driven to do. That's
no. I disagree.
See, no, you're
technology in itself isn't bad. It's the people who use it, and for the way it's used.
It's the thing. It's not that the regime is corrupt.
Yes, it is.
It's that the system breeds corruption. Is that the system is broken, and that's all it can breed is corruption. In order to become a politician in this sham fucking government, the only way to become a politician in this sham government
is to be a sham.
Is to be a millionaire.
And be a sham.
And it's a sham. I mean, just the puppet government. You've got to be a millionaire to get into. You can't afford to run against these independent wealthy millionaires and these career politicians. You can't run against them.
No, you got to get
They've got the name and the money to bury
someone's pocket, period.
That's the only way. So the system can't be fixed.
No, it can't be. That's why this isn't going to end until we all get a gun and start shooting politicians.
I want you to be very careful about what you say on this. This is recorded and put on the internet. I'm kind of serious on this.
Okay, no.
And certain things you say in certain situations could be considered terrorist threats. That what you just said could be considered a terrorist threat.
I'm not threatening
If you're comfortable making that statement, that I'm just giving you the thought.
I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just saying these politicians are not going to allow us to fix this problem. So what is the end game? Civil war?
Well,
a revolution?
It's not going to happen.
What is it? It's not going to happen. It's not going to be peacefully. I mean, come on. There's so many guns in this country.
Oh, it won't. We're animals. It's not even guns. I don't give a fuck about guns. We could have no guns. This country could be gunless. We're animals. We're human beings.
Yeah, but
we're animals.
I heard someone say from Britain that the European countries, they've already more or less bowed down to the New World Order. And whatever you may think the New World Order is, or whatever that term's thrown around these days. Okay.
I do have an opinion. It's funny. I do have an opinion on that.
But America's hasn't bowed down yet. And even the European countries think it's going to, it's a relatively peaceful transition in Europe. They don't think it's going to be peaceful here at all.
It's I'm more and more. We were supposed to be talking about the name of the show. I'm more and more turning into one of these tinfoil hat guys. I'm more and more thinking these tinfoil hat guys might be ahead of the curve. They might have a couple less fucking brainwaves stolen than the rest of us at this point.
Yeah.
Fucking DARPA builds giant antennas in the Arctic Circle for what purpose? Weather control? Well, they're sucking at it. So,
or are they?
Oh yeah. Maybe the tinfoil hat guy was right. Maybe they are reading your fucking thoughts, man.
I mean, why else are there? I've seen pictures of that place. There's just acres and acres of these giant antennas.
Yeah. DARPA giant antenna array.
Yeah. Why is there a city under Denver, Colorado's airport?
Well, there's a city under Disney World.
No, yeah, but no one else has access to the city in Denver except the government.
The Disney World.
Wow.
Nobody has access to it but Disney World. The Disney World employees.
Yeah, well, I think it's a little different.
Just a giant catacomb system with places to eat and all sorts of shit underneath Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you want?
Hold on. I'm not done yet.
I was going to ask you what you thought about.
I thought about what? The name thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't done with screaming about the government. But now I lost my thought because you mentioned the
name
thing.
Back to the antennas? That looked like it hurt.
Oh, my original point is whatever the end game is on our end, we're not going to even try anything until they're stepping on our throats.
Well, yeah, we always wait to react. And you're talking about
we're the world's most comfortable slaves. It's not a joke. We're the world's most comfortable slaves.
I call
it slavery.
I call it ignorance.
All they did was figure out how to have slaves without them wanting to revolt.
It's not working anymore, though. There's too many people questioning and wanting
because human beings evolved.
Pardon me?
Because human beings evolve, and no matter how perfect a system you make, eventually we're going to catch on, and human beings also rebel. So eventually we're going to rebel. No matter what system you make, that's a form of slavery. Listen, okay? You're born, and you go to school. The school costs your parents money. It's called school taxes.
Right.
You went to school to go to college. I mean, you didn't go to college, but that's what they want you to do now, isn't it?
Right.
Well, that's between $50,000 and $250,000 worth of immediate financial debt.
Mm-hmm.
Compounding interest.
Just like a pair of shackles.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's the next step? You've gone to school. You've racked up this debt. You got to start paying off these fucking student loans. I need a job. Well, it's a good thing I went to school because I got me a little piece of paper that says I'm good at something. So I'm going to go and get me a job.
It lied.
Even barring the current social standings, the economic standings, you now get to go get a job.
Right.
In your field. Let's just say that happens.
Right.
For entry-level money because you're an entry-level employee.
Right.
Well, the entry-level money in any position is between $35,000 and $50,000. I mean,
if you're lucky.
That's professional. I'm thinking you went to school, you got your degree, you start between $35,000 and $50,000 for the most part.
Okay.
But you have between $50,000 and $250,000 worth of compounding interest that you're working to pay off. Well, now you got to buy a fucking house. You know why? Because they told you to. They told you that being a landowner, being a homeowner, is part of the American dream. The white picket fence and the 2.5 kids.
Originally.
And the fucking dog in the front yard.
It was originally.
Because it was supposed to be an investment. But that's not what it is. What it is a death note. You know why? Because this one, besides your student loans, this one's going to take at least 30 years to pay off.
Yeah.
With compounding interest.
Yeah.
So that you pay twice what the house is worth.
Yeah.
And you'll never sell it for the money that you have in it.
And you know, the whole idea of a mortgage It's just asinine in the first place.
And then when you know what's going to happen? Either you're going to foreclose or you're going to die. The bank's going to fucking take it and sell it to another 30-year-old for another 30 fucking years.
Yep. What's your point?
This is nothing but the world's most comfortable slavery. And they just have been hiding in plain sight, hoping that if we were appeased enough, we wouldn't dig deeper.
That's why they give you
opinions.
the toys like the iPhone and shit.
But that backfired on them because the toys like the iPhone and shit gave us access to the interweb, the complete collection of the world's knowledge to the best of anybody's ability. Because you can't keep, even if you try to spread lies, there's people there to call the lies.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of misinformation.
Sure there is, but there's also a lot of true information. Sometimes you just got to dig a little deeper for the true information.
But how do you know?
Because they can't take the true information out, dude.
How do you know what's what sometimes?
So what they do is they try to flood it. You can't, dude. You can't. You have to absorb as much. You have to absorb as much information as you can,
and use they're all evil.
And use your brain and your common sense and your life experience to draw your own fucking conclusions. But you know what? We all have more information now, and we're all starting to draw similar conclusions because the system's starting to break down on them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You think just a little bit. I think it's breaking down more than you think.
I think that they think they're in the perfect place.
Well, I think they're ready to. They're ready to pull out the stops now. I think they're ready to make a full court press and be done with it.
I still think that they think that everybody thinks me and you were tin hat foil guys, but we're not, and people are starting to fucking see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People are starting to get on board. Things don't sound fucking right. Like I've never been a conspiracy guy. I've never been a conspiracy guy. Never.
Come on, you can't put things together.
Ever until the last 5 years. Do you know the biggest hole in the Kennedy assassination? And then we're going to get off the Kennedy assassination because it's the whole thing. Biggest hole, in my opinion, you know what the biggest hole is? In my personal opinion? 88 minutes. Without any prior knowledge, with one shitty videotape, on no forensic science, they managed to figure out the trajectory of the shooter in enough time to apprehend him. And then he cried. Stunning feat of police work.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Stunning. Unbelievable.
Hasn't been paralleled ever since.
88 minutes. And he cried he was a patsy from the start.
Mm-hmm.
But he was told to stand there with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
88 minutes.
And it's only one hole. I can name one more. I can name another. I can name two more.
I don't like the magic bullet theory. I've watched the tape.
Not the magic bullet. It was fucking. Who are you trying to fool? Fucking a 4-year-old knows the bullet ain't gonna do that.
I don't like the magic bullet theory. It doesn't hold. It doesn't hold water with me.
I'm more interested in the woman on the knoll with the video camera that no one could ever find her videotape.
They say it was pointing at a bush.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story I've heard.
Mm-hmm. I heard
she didn't know how to operate it, and it was pointing at a bush.
I've heard they never was able to find her or the tape.
Honestly, I've heard different information, but who knows? Who knows?
No, I don't know. I believe our government shot Kennedy. Period. They wanted him out. They wanted Johnson in. I don't know the end game. I don't know their reasoning, but I believe they were behind it. I believe they were behind 9/11.
I don't want to. God, no.
I don't mean our government per se, but I mean you can't tell me they didn't know something was going on.
All right, now we're on the same page.
That's what I mean. You can't. We're the smartest. We're the smartest intelligence country in the world.
We have more technology at our hands.
I mean, they know when I'm farting, for Christ's sake, if they want to.
We have the world's largest intelligence and defense budget.
How can they not know of anything? How? I don't...
Exactly. Exactly. I know. I do believe I don't believe that they. I don't believe they plotted it. Yeah. No, hired guys.
I don't believe they plotted it, but I can't.
They just said, "Listen, if this happened, this will be good for us."
I think someone dropped the ball and.
Oh no! I go one step further. Not drop your ball. Somebody said, "Hey, boss, look at what I figured out." And boss went, "I'll tell the supervisor." And he runs and he tells his supervisor. And the supervisor went,
"Yeah,
really?
Okay."
No, I think he goes, "Really? Thank you very much, Johnson. Go back to your desk." And he goes to the fucking senators and congressmen or whoever the fuck is in power.
Right.
And he says, "Listen, you guys wanted a reason to put troops over there, right? Yeah. I hear fucking earmarks of a fucking half-assed terrorist attack. Now, we could easily shut it down, but if we just let it go, they'll be all fucking rah, ready to go." And they went, "I don't know what you're talking about. You were never here."
And
then the papers got shredded, and people
that's a possibility.
You know why? Because it's easy to figure out. You could figure that trail. The guy who put the dots together, the supervisor, the guy, and the top guy. Right? Maybe 5-6 guys in that.
Yeah.
You can keep 5 guys quiet.
Right.
What you cannot do is keep 10,000 people quiet.
But what if it wasn't even
somebody's going to talk?
What if it even wasn't that? Maybe it wasn't even that someone was plotting for an advantage somewhere or whatever. Maybe it was just
I didn't want to go for 9/11.
Just some supervisor who happened to be a dick, which we've all worked for one, and someone came up and said, "Hey, boss, I got this information." And the boss doesn't like the guy for whatever reason, just because the boss is a dick. And he looked at it and goes, "Oh, okay, thanks."
You're an idiot, all right.
And threw it right out.
That Johnson kid's a real fucking moron.
Yeah, and just threw it out. No one saw it, and boom, now there's a plane hitting a tower. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, wow.
That's possible. I think, personally, I just feel that 12 Saudi Arabian jagoffs with flight experience...
Very little from what I heard.
They took classes in Florida. Remember, everybody heard that. Everybody heard that.
Yeah, but it's still little.
Whatever. Not hard to know that people took flight lessons. But that can't be a hard thing for the NSA.
It all came out afterwards.
The FBI, then.
CIA, whoever.
CIA is international. FBI is
Then why do they call it Central?
I don't know. But CIA deals with Interpol and international shit. FBI's home stuff. Homefront stuff. Okay. I don't know.
But yeah, it's like someone dropped the ball. That's all I can say. We're supposed to be, they've got satellites that can, take pictures of guys on the street and see what they're pulling out of their wallet. How can we miss this?
I mean, you have access to Google Maps. That's what you have access to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have access to Google Maps. What do you think they've got?
I know. That's what I mean. I don't understand how they can drop that ball.
And theirs is an infrared, so you can see it in live action. Heat signature.
That's what I mean. How do you miss this?
You don't. That's why I think it was purposely let go. It was so blatant a thing that I don't think incompetence covers it. Like, literally, I know some of the dumbest people on this planet,
but when you
and they would have been like, "Listen, this doesn't make wait. 12 guys on a visa, all are taking flights from 3 major cities all together. They have all trained at the same flight school. Something suspicious there. It's at least enough to throw up a red flag."
Well, yeah, but who would have been able to garner that information?
What do you mean, who? Like, who's supposed to be?
The airlines would have had it.
I don't know who's supposed to be. It would be available, but I don't know who it's supposed to be.
But the airlines would have had it, but they wouldn't have looked for it. You know what I mean?
I would think that they would shut up a red flag on this intelligence committees of ours. This intelligence.
Yeah, but you got to remember, before 9/11, there was no NSA. But again,
the military industrial complex. The military industrial complex. The intelligence. The fucking intelligence agencies should have come. You're telling me they didn't? Bullshit. You can't.
I don't know, but there's been so many discrepancies that, I just feel I'm being lied to by everybody.
It's all a simulation. We're all just some kids' video game.
Well,
we're not even the main characters.
I wish I'm stuck in a loop.
We're just some kids' video game, and we're not even the main characters.
Oh man.
We're just the huddled masses.
Wow,
Think of SimCity?
Now you brought me all down, man.
Think of SimCity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's simulation theory. There's, I guess, mounting evidence to believe that we exist in nothing more than a 10-dimensional simulated universe.
Really?
Yes. So all the math points to a decision that you could draw a line to that, like, we are literally...
Who came up with this theory?
I don't know the Doctor Who coined it.
What's he smoking? I want some.
You can't ask me to get down to it because it's quantum physics and string theory, and as much as I try, it's just over my head. It's hard to fucking wrap your head around quantum physics, dude. Yeah. It doesn't work the same way. It doesn't work the same way.
When you drop something, it does not fall.
Like nothing's dropped. It can't be. You couldn't. Nothing could be dropped. It's not. That's not. Gravity doesn't. It's not. God damn it! I wanted to talk about the New World Order.
How are you going to do that when you can't even wrap your head around quantum fields? You
can't even say it. So who are you laughing at? For example, the simplest example that you hear is that nothing is truly solid on a micro scale. On a macro scale, it feels and appears solid to us.
Okay.
But on a micro scale, on the atom size scale, the subatomic.
Right.
Nothing is really solid. There's an atom is made up of a nucleus, which is I believe the nucleus is a proton. I fucking can't remember. It's made up of a nucleus, and then electrons and neutrons spin around it. See, I can't even remember.
I think the neutrons sit still.
I can't remember what it was. See, I can't even remember at this point in time. This also
neutrons to center protons and electrons.
I'm whatever. It doesn't matter. There's space between the particles.
Yeah, there's space. All right.
There's empty space between the particles.
Right.
You just said it. There's a core, and then things orbit around it.
But that doesn't mean the particles themselves aren't solid.
The particles themselves might be solid, but we can't perceive the particles, so that's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about this table. Right here.
You're
no, we're not. We're taking it right out of the imaginary.
It's not solid.
Right. This table is, at its very core, at its very essence, not solid. Nothing is.
Well,
me, you, this table, the ground, the earth, nothing.
But you just said that the three parts of
nothing that we're perceiving is solid. Me and you cannot perceive subatomic particles. We can observe them using tools.
This is part of subatomic particles.
This is made up of subatomic particles.
Therefore, it is
we can
solid
only perceive
like the subatomic particles.
No, it is not. Because this is made up of millions of them.
Right.
Billions of them.
And there's space between them.
I understand every one of them. This table in itself is not a solid, unpassable, opaque, physical thing. To the point where so is our body, that we may not even feel the solidness of it. What we're feeling is the negative force of the two objects meeting in time and space. This is quantum physics. And this is the most rudimentary. And this is at the most rudimentary levels.
They smoke good ganj, don't they?
I would imagine.
I'm sure they do.
I mean, and this is at the most rudimentary level I'm trying to explain. That's the best I can explain it.
You can't explain it. It didn't work.
I don't. And when the people that know what they're talking about explain it to you,
I'll still go.
You sit there and still
explain it. You're wrong.
It doesn't work. It's out of your pay grade. It's just
how did it get in their pay grade? It
doesn't make any sense to you because they're smarter.
No.
There are people on this planet, just like anything else, that are smarter than others. There's different levels. Now, I consider myself.
You should be able to learn. Right?
Anybody can learn an infinite amount of information for the infinite amount of time that they're here on this planet.
That doesn't make it click in your head. I can learn a bunch of information. It doesn't mean it makes sense in my head.
That's where we get into the intelligence factor. You can take a person.
So how do we know they're just not crazy?
They're not just crazy.
Prove it.
They have the math to prove it, and then a step down from them.
They made up the math.
No, that's not.
They made up the math.
No, that's not how it works.
Human beings made up the math.
Through keen observation. It's not.
They didn't observe.
Stop,
nucleus.
Stop. You're getting off on something you don't understand, and you're not understanding how it's going. We made up math through observation of universal constants. We just didn't make it up. We observed the way things happen consistently and built the math around it.
Mm-hmm.
That's called that. You know what that's called? Physics. That's called physics. That's what physics is. The observation of the laws of the universe and the mathematical applications.
You're telling me math is just like the Bible. Something man made up to help them understand the world around them.
No, not at all what I just said. It's not made up as in a fictional story. It is observational constants.
I understand.
Now we use our language, our numeric system, to represent these constants because that's what we understand. That doesn't make it imaginary.
Okay, granted. But you say that they built the math because of these observational constants. Well, when you start saying, how do you fucking get the math to figure out how many miles away the star is from the Earth and shit like that?
You measure the speed of light.
And who came up with this theory? I mean.
What do you mean theory?
And not theory, but I mean, who? How do you measure this? Who? How do they measure the speed of light?
I don't exactly know the formula, but they figured it the fuck out. Out of my pay grade. Didn't bother to learn the formula. Didn't bother to learn the formula. It doesn't apply to me. Didn't bother to learn the math. It doesn't apply to me. Not an astrophysicist. Not a mathematician. Don't need to know the math. I'm more interested in the general subject of it. Don't need to know the.
Here's the other issue I have. Okay, and this is extraterrestrial, in the fact that humans come
not of this planet. That's what extraterrestrial means.
Could be. Humans come up with math from your constant observational
counting the fucking stars.
Whatever. Okay, humans come up with math to answer these questions or explain these things. But what if there's more advanced, quote, life forms out there that don't use math and they do everything we do and more? What if they don't use math?
Oh, because they would use some form of mathematics.
That's your human being.
They would
humanness projecting your self-image on an extraterrestrial.
Because you're not listening to what I'm saying because you just keep talking before I finish saying, which we're going to have a problem with. I can put your mic down if I'm still talking and you start talking over me. So, no. They would still have used the same observational constants to develop a mathematic system. Would it be the same math as ours? No, because they come from a different place. They have different constants. Would it be in the same numerical exchange as ours? Of course not. Would theirs make any sense to us and ours make any sense to theirs? No. No, it wouldn't. But the universal constants would be as close to a similar thing that we could hold on to for communication as we could imagine. And I just dropped my shit. What, did you sit there in silence because I yelled at you for talking over me?
No, I don't agree with you. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. I just don't. Why would any
for example,
creature from another planet have math? It's a human construct. Period.
For example, on the planet Earth, the sun does what every day, and does what every night.
Yeah, I understand.
In the same amount of time. How did we get perceivable time? By measuring that. On an alien planet, they would have done the same thing. Their sun would have rose and their sun would have set. Would it have been the same as ours? Probably not. But because planets rotate, everything rotates in space. Because it rotates, their sun would have rose and their sun would have set, and they would have measured it because that's how they would have figured out their time. And you figured out time on a most basic animal instinct.
You say measured it. Measured it how?
By observing it and breaking up a communicatable margin to establish it. It takes this amount of time for the sun to rise and the sun to set. So we call that a day. So we know that it takes 3 days to travel to the Great Pond. The pond's so big you cannot see across it. They would have had a similar basis. And any dog knows that the sun is about to rise or the sun is about to set, not based on observation, but based on internal time clock, because the sun rises and the sun sets. Well, human beings are a little bit different because we have this more complicated.
What if there's life out there that...
You ever wake up 5 minutes before your alarm goes off?
All the time.
Because your body measured the amount of time that you get sleeping. You know what time you go to bed, you know what time you wake up. Your body wakes up 5 minutes before the clock because you know
my body needs to change that.
Because you wake up.
No, because I wake up 4 times in the night.
Well, that's other things going on in your health and what have you. But absolutely, time is measurable.
What if
so is mathematics. I mean, that makes mathematics a measurable, provable thing.
I don't know. I for some reason I'm stupid. I just got in my head that math is a human construct.
Somebody told you this, but it's not true. Somebody said this to you, but they're wrong. It's not a human construct. Animals understand how to fucking count days. They really do. That's math.
Do they know how to count, or do they just observe the change?
A horse knows that it takes 3 days to get to the Great Pond. Because the horse could do once the horse has done the travel once, it can do it without you. It doesn't need you anymore to do the travel. It knows the route, and it knows how long it takes to get there. And it'll know when to rest. It'll know when to time the sun's setting, so it'll know when time to bed. Horses actually been taught to count, do simple addition. Monkeys have been taught to do simple addition. Math is absolutely a perceivable thing within animals, so this human construct thing out the window.
I think it's mimicry.
No.
Counting?
It's only mimicking if it were an intense training like that. But simple counting is not mimicking, and they do it all the time. Sorry, I do not. I have no belief that math is a human construct in the tiniest. I would like to start out that this rant started as we no longer want to do sports. We need to pick a name for our show. It ended with mathematics is real. I don't care how much you want to fucking dig your heels in and say you don't think it is.
I didn't say it wasn't real. I said it was a human construct.
It is an It is absolutely a conscious construct.
And you couldn't fathom
things that are conscious
you
are going to
can't
construct
fathom.
man.
I think you're the closed mind here because you can't fathom alien technology without math.
There again, they would have had. They would have had a conditional constant that would have been a measurable part in the beginning of their evolution. Now, do you not believe in evolution? Do we have to have that fight?
Only if you want me to.
I don't want you to. It's the one fucking argument I don't want to have with you, is whether evolution is real or not. I don't ever want to have that argument with.
Didn't we get left in pods or something from aliens?
You know what? That's better than that's better than clay and ribs.
Clay and ribs.
It's really that's better than clay and ribs. It really is. The math adds up on that a little bit better. There's this thing called probability factor.
Yeah. There's some unknown, unexplained things that kind of factor in there too.
There's a lot of unexplained things.
Mm-hmm.
It's all unexplained. You know why? Because there's no explanation for it.
Well, hence the word unexplained.
Everything's. I mean, it's all unexplained. There's no explanation for it.
Yeah, man. You see, that whole conversation there with the math and shit. I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be. It just comes naturally.
You're welcome to. I just got mad at you for talking over me. You're welcome to be a troll all you want. I'm familiar with this symptom because I troll Stacy on a regular basis.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, dude. I will purposely pick an opinion I don't agree with fundamentally just because I want to argue with him.
Gotcha.
A lot of times we do we have a completely different stance on crime.
Really?
I'm much more criminal bias than he is.
Oh, he's cut and dry. You did it. You're done.
Yeah, he's much more cut and dry, and I'm much more. Listen, if people make mistakes,
he has never been in the gray area, has he?
Not mine.
It's a guy that's
not really outside of minor stuff.
Never been in the gray area. He might have accidentally stepped over the line and shooed back once or twice. But if you've seen the gray area for any length of time, Stace, your whole attitude would be a lot different.
Yeah, there's people make.
It's the kind of world my mother and father live in.
And there's this thing called
the cops are on your side. They're here to protect you. That's why there's videotape on YouTube every 10 minutes of a new cop being, doing something he shouldn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck, I got so much I want to see. This is a much better idea. I'm much happier with this.
What?
We still got to talk about the name. And real quick, before we get out, because it's Rock Conspiracy, since that was apparently the subject of the show.
It was?
Apparently.
I thought it
was supposed to be the name, but we'll get to that in a second. We're going to wrap up conspiracies.
Oh, I
so
thought
it's going to be the name of conspiracy.
The show was the Death of SportsWreck.
That was the intro. That was the epilogue. No, that was the prologue. Prologue comes first. Prologue comes first.
Yeah, epilogue's after.
Yeah. So that was the prologue.
Epilogue will be the disclaimer that anything we said was
the end of the
for
name
entertainment purposes, and we're all assholes.
And then I'm gonna. I swear to God, I'm making the note of it in my phone right now. I'm going to stop, and I'm gonna make a little correction in here. On part of this thing, and people will hear it. I'll make it obvious that it was corrected.
Right.
Oh, before we get moving on to the name thing, who do you think the New World Order is?
Sheesh, man, I think that's bigger than is. Conglomerate?
No, it's definitely a conglomerate. But what do you think? You want to know mine? I asked the question.
Okay, go ahead. Because
it's the only reason I really asked the question.
I mean, I can give you who I think are members, but
the World Banking Organization. cut and dry. The World Banking Association. Because they truly believe this thing, this money, they really believe it's real. You want to talk about a human construct.
They don't get me started on money.
They really think it's real. They really think it's a thing. They think it's a real thing.
It used to be.
It's not.
I know.
It never was. There's things that are valuable, though, because they're sought after. Those are things. Currency is never a thing.
Currency is not
unless it's actually made out of the thing that's
money
valuable.
Doesn't exist.
Unless it's made out, like if
Kenny
your currency was gold coins, because gold's valuable, because it's a rare mineral, then that would be currency.
Right.
Anything else is it's made up. It's made up.
Kenny will tell you there is no such thing as money. He will tell you. He will go into great detail on this subject.
He's both wrong and right. Clearly there's money because they shove it in my face every day and try to take it all.
That's not money.
But that's currency. But there is no such thing as money. There's things that are valuable and desire for them.
What people call money, or what you just call currency, is not money. It's not.
Paper. It's fancy paper.
Ain't worth the paper it's printed on.
For pennies, that's literal. It costs 1.7 cents to manufacture a penny.
I know. So why do they keep doing it?
Nobody wants them.
Why do they keep doing it?
Why waste the copper? The copper could be more valuable used somewhere else.
Why do they keep minting them? There's enough out there. We don't need to mint more.
Because that's how you keep fat cats employed. But that's our hour for now. From now on, we'll do longer shows. But for tonight, I think it's good. We just getting our feet wet. What do you think?
Feet wet?
Yeah, get our feet wet with the new show.
Am I supposed to remember what we've done?
No.
Oh. Okay.
You're just supposed to say that an hour's enough time.
An hour's great.
You agree with me.
Sure, I agree with you.
And then we'll work on longer shows in the future.
Absolutely.
But for just starting a new show format, an hour's good, since that's what the people are used to having anyway.
We have a format?
Yes.
So,
this was another episode of SportsWreck?
No, it wasn't.
It surely wasn't.
This was a new episode of something that we haven't named yet.
Unknown.
We are unknown.
The unknown.
The unknown.
It's already changed, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I'm not even bothered.
Yeah.
I'm quite positive that's taken.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Thank you for joining us here on our new podcast. Whatever listeners managed to make through the rambling, and whatever new listeners we will gain in the future. Now we just have to we'll still keep this up as under SportsWreck for a while, as well as we'll pimp it under the new name once we have a new name. We'll do that simultaneously.
Maybe we should ask any listeners that have made it through the last tumultuous few weeks to maybe send in some suggestions.
We have one listener that'll actually do that. So, Angela, if you really want to send some suggestions, we'll be happy to have them. Thank you.
Or you can just tell me when I see you Saturday.
Yes, that's also true.
Yeah.
Now we got to tell Vinny that SportsWreck is gone, and I got to fix that around. Man.
How do you think Don's gonna handle it?
Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Right. He has sports shows. He doesn't need.
He doesn't need another bad one.
Exactly.
Although we were bad.
Yeah, horribly. So there's nothing to pimp because we don't have a new Facebook.
No.
We don't have a new... I mean, you can pimp the Twitters, but that doesn't help anyways.
No, not really.
And you have to pimp the ROC. I don't know. I guess we're done.
Yeah.
Say goodnight, Bill.
Good night, Bill.